Hey everybody, Aaron here. Today I'm doing a 25 facts about me video. I've seen these going around on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff like that, so I figured I would do one as well. I've got 25 facts here. Let's see how well they stack up. So, number one, I'm a huge fan of the movies Alien, of the Alien series, of the Star Wars series, and of the Predator series. Like, I've watched all of those movies multiple times. I really have a huge admiration for all three of those series, and I've got I started collecting their action figures throughout my teenage and adult years, because as a kid I really didn't have, my parents couldn't really afford much as far as like action figures went. They'd always give me like a handful of Star Wars Micro Machines here or there, but they really didn't want to get too many toys, and they wanted me to spend more time outside, and really couldn't afford a whole lot because of, you know, just growing up. But that starts me off with number two, which is I am a huge collector. Like, as I said, you know, growing up I didn't get much, but my dad started me off with a coin collection as a kid. And the Tooth Fairy wouldn't bring me money that I could spend, but would bring me coins from my collection. My dad would have stuff from his old collection and just, you know, stuff it in a little BB box that he had and put it under my pillow whenever I was sleeping. Number three. Getting back to number two before I move on to number three is basically I went from coins to Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Magic the Gathering cards. Yu-Gi-Oh started off for me in like high school when the anime came out, and I was obsessed with it. So I went and bought like my first pack with leftover lunch money from a week's worth of not eating lunch, because I didn't like school lunches, and I didn't eat a whole lot during lunchtime. And yeah, so after that I moved into collecting action figures in my adult time. You know, it's kind of a way to have something that I wanted back as a kid, which was a lot of the different action figures of movies that I grew up watching. Number three is I'm married. And it's not to Katie. You know, I've had people say that we make a good team or a great couple, but we're not romantically linked at all. Katie is like a little sister to me, and my wife Jen actually does a lot of our stuff behind set. She's usually the one like getting stuff set up for tasty tests where we're blindfolded, or editing our travel vlogs, because I'm like swamped with working and doing other things for the channel. So yeah, number three is me being married. Number four is I am a huge fan of Rammstein, Atreyu, Ice Nine Kills, many other like hard rock and metal bands and stuff like that. I really started getting into heavy metal around like my 5th grade year, going into 6th grade middle school. Most kids around here either liked country or pop or rap, but I was like, my dad introduced me to like Rob Zombie and Rammstein and all that, and he was like, this stuff is awesome, you need to listen to this. And I started listening to it, and I was like, I really wanted to play guitar, so I got a guitar at like my 8th, 9th, or probably my junior year in high school. It was when I got my first guitar, if not probably my sophomore year in high school. I can't remember too well, but I remember playing Rammstein's Du Hast as my first song, and that was like, that it really showed my love for Rammstein, you know, and other groups like that. And then I started playing Atreyu and Ice Nine Kills songs, but I've kind of gotten out of playing guitar. I don't know, I just, with things going on in my life, I kind of fell out of the way with that. Number five for me is I love the artwork of H.R. Giger. Giger, of course, made the Alien and made Syl from the movie Species, which is very underrated in my opinion, but I like his artwork. It's very just biomechanical in nature, and I love that kind of mixture of biology and mechanics, and it's very surrealist and sort of sexually driven, which is kind of creepy in a way, but at the same time it's dark and weird and mysterious, and I love it. Uh, my favorite food this is now number 6. I know I haven't been keeping count. Number 6 is I like pizza and I like sushi, but I do not like sushi pizza. I really started liking sushi like maybe 6 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. A buddy of mine got me started on it, and I've been hooked ever since. Number 7 is I love sports, but I only like 3 or 4 sports in general. I like college football. I don't like pro football too much. I can't get into the whole. I don't know, pro sports. I like certain ones, but not big time. I love rugby and I like hockey. Those are like my 3 sports. Basketball is I like basketball every now and then. I used to play basketball and football, but I'm more of a college football guy. Number 8, I love anything Scottish or Irish, and that's mostly because I'm Scottish and Irish in ancestry. On both sides of the family, it's majority Scottish and Irish, and then there's like Welsh, Breton, Norman, a whole bunch of just everything. Like, I've traced my genealogy all the way back to William the Conqueror, and that was pretty cool for me. So, number 9, I love just going to restaurants, but I have like 3 that I always want to go to, and that's 843 Korean. I love the atmosphere in there. The food's amazing. I love everything about the place. Madra, and I'm butchering that by my southern accent, but Madra is a Irish pub in like the Charleston area, and it's so awesome. It feels like you're stepping right into a real Irish bar or pub. I should say, not bar, but you're stepping into a real Irish pub when you go into these places, because I mean they use almost everything feels authentic there. The food's not, the food's really good. I'm not going to knock it. There are things in there, but I mean there are things in there that are American, but I mean to really put it in perspective, American restaurants tend to focus on American cuisine. It is what it is. You don't really get the traditional stuff. I mean, you get the traditional stuff in 843 though. That's one of the things I gotta say is shepherd's pie is amazing there. The fish and chips, I mean, they give you a chunk of fish that really makes you feel like you're gonna walk away full. And their bar is amazing. I love everything about Madra. And then the third one is Galway Bay, up in Baltimore. I've got my in-laws live up in the Baltimore area, and we go up there and see them like once or twice a year. And Galway Bay is actually in Annapolis, not Baltimore, but it's really an amazing Irish pub up there. That was number 9. Number 10 is when I was a kid, I actually taught my parents were desperate to get me to use the potty, and as a kid, I was very hard to teach and do things with because I was just a very slow learner as a kid. I ended up growing out of that, luckily. But to get me to use the potty, my dad bribed me with a Nintendo, and as soon as the word Nintendo slipped out of his mouth, he didn't think I was going to do it. Well, I dropped my diaper, walked over to that potty, and boom, showed him that I would do it for a Nintendo, and I got a Nintendo. So that was like, my dad at that point was a teacher, and he had saved up anyway just to plan ahead in case I did it. And yeah, sure enough, a couple of days later, I was playing Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and he was sitting there going, of course I was pitiful at it, but he was sitting there playing along with me, and he was laughing about the whole thing. And every time he'd get the chance, he'd tell me that story. I still can't believe you bribed me about that. Number 11 is I'm a gamer, as you know. It's in the channel's name, but I've only had like big feelings for like 3 series my entire life, and that was Monster Hunter World. Well, 4 series: Monster Hunter World, Tekken, Metal Gear Solid, and Legends of Zelda. Legends of Zelda, I haven't played all of the games, but I was always a huge fan of that series. I really enjoy Monster Hunter too. Like, I've played 3 Monster Hunter games, even though most of them were out for the DS. I just recently got a 3DS, so it's like I'm now getting to experience that. I love anime. Like, I am a huge anime fan. I've watched anime since I was a teenager, and maybe as a little kid, actually, because I watched G-Force growing up. And then I remember watching the Gundam series, and then getting into, like, Sergeant Frog and all these other goofy animes that I've watched. My wife and me used to sit down and watch them all the time, and now we've just kind of like, we're getting into the more adult stuff, so cartoons have not been kind of our thing lately, but I really enjoy that stuff. Number 13, I love going out to the beach or getting on a boat and going out on the water. Recently, I've taken up kayaking as well. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Number 14 is my favorite authors are Michael Crichton, Aurelius Nova, who's a local author from, the Charleston area here, who I met through a mutual friend, Omar, and she is an awesome author. So if you ever get the chance, check her out. She is awesome. And I love Ernest Hemingway. I mean, I grew up reading Hemingway and Crichton a lot, and then when I finally got to read Ari stuff, it was like, boom, I've found my next Crichton, or my next Hemingway, by the way she writes. I mean, she's not Hemingway, because Hemingway she really paints a picture for you that you can step into and get into this. Hemingway was more like, the bridge blew up, the end. Yeah. Sorry if I ruined For Whom the Bell Tolls for anybody. Yeah. But anyway, number 15. Here's a funny one for you. I'm an ordained minister. Now, I know what you're thinking. You don't look like you would be the kind to be a preacher. Not so much in the Christian church. I'm more ordained in the Church of the Dude, which is, it was a joke, I think, at first, and now it's become a religious movement. I use it more or less as a way to define my personality, which is more, it is what it is. I mean, my attitude's always been, as growing up, I was always nervous about everything. And then I kind of just like decided I need to be more relaxed. I need to really just live life and not worry about everything. And that's where the Church of the Dude, I started like saying, it's like whatever, man, or, that's like your initiative or whatever, So now I actually am an ordained minister in it, which is funny. I even have a little card and got certifications and all that, so I've actually joked about marrying a few people, helping them get through their marriage vows and all that in Dudism. Let's see, that was number 15. 16, I'm a big fan of sci-fi and comedy. Those are like my 2 favorite genres of movies or television or anything like that. Like, growing up, I used to watch a lot of like Stargate and Star Trek and Star Wars. My dad was all about, comedy as well, and he would like just binge watch comedy movies with me, and I loved it. Favorite cartoons that are more geared towards like American audiences is Adventure Time and Regular Show. I really like that stuff. Rick and Morty as well. I love Rick and Morty. Kind of jumped on the bandwagon a little late there, but I need to catch up. I'm behind on the season, so definitely gonna be spending some time watching that. And number 18 is I look a lot like my dad and my uncle. On my dad's side, I don't really get much from my mom's side of the family other than, my male pattern baldness and that sense of humor that I've got. And the wittiness. I noticed that a lot from my mom's side of the family, and I really do notice a few things, in the face that are of my mom's side of the family, but I got more of my dad and me visually than I did, and I take after him a lot. It's pretty cool. I take after my mom too, so I got an even mix when it came down to it. But everybody always says I look just like my dad, and they'd always, growing up I was always little Toby, or look at little Toby over there. Number 19, I actually went to college for a semester, and it wasn't anything that. So I went to college at Coker College, and I loved it. I loved everything about Coker. Coker was an amazing school up in Hartsville, South Carolina. The Fighting Cobras, I enjoyed it. I had great professors, but I got sick, and I think a lot of it was due to stress and just eating so much that I ended up having to have my gallbladder removed at a young age. I mean, I was like 18 or 19 when I had it removed, and it was like the first time the surgeon had ever, he told me it was like one of the first times he'd ever dealt with that with a teenager. So it was like, wow. I mean, I felt kind of odd, So I ended up having to miss a lot of school because of the fact it took so long to diagnose. It took so long to get it taken care of, and finally it took a while to recuperate. And at that point, my parents gave me the option: either I could go back to school the next year, or I could work from home, or I could start working. And I offered to start working to help kind of pay some bills. And that's where it kind of came in that I became where I am today. Rather than going back to school, I should have gone back to school, but my parents needed me more. And that was kind of the thing I chose. So I enjoyed my time at Coker, but I've always been a family person. Number 20, I used to do voiceover work for a couple of things on Newgrounds. Like, I had a couple of friends that ran Newgrounds channels or Newgrounds. They were animators on Newgrounds, and I did some work with my buddy Alex. A couple of other friends asked me to do some voiceover work. Did some writing for a couple of channels too. Never really got big in it though. I got deterred by it when someone kind of mocked my southern accent. Now I embrace it. Hey, it is what makes me me. It's part of what makes me me. Number 21, I've already kind of talked about one, but I have two friends that are authors. One is actually a published author, and the other one is working on his way to becoming a published author. So my friend Ari, of course, I really love her work, and every time she gets a book out, I'm ready to grab it, and start reading it. And then my buddy Will, who is Katie's brother, he's in the process of getting his book published now, and that's pretty cool. I love it. Maybe once everything gets published, I'm gonna have him come on the show, but it would be awesome. Or maybe soon. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to get him to come on the show and talk about his book a little bit. Come on a show, or come on here and just sit down and vlog with us a little bit. 22, number 22, I'm actually working on a cosplay. I've been working on a couple of them here and there. I started, my first costume I ever did for any kind of convention or anything like that was I dressed up as Bob from Bob's Burgers. I kept my beard and all that, and I was like, I'm bearded Bob. And everybody, immediately, people were walking around, oh my God, you're Bob. And I'm a big fan of H. John Benjamin, so Bob's Burgers was really one of the first cartoons, and that's actually needs to go up into the cartoon thing, so totally forgot about that. Number 23, I love gaming, and I've been a gamer since I was a little kid. I played Atari 2600. That was one of the first systems I played, and that kind of dates me, because I'm like 20. I can't say I'm 20. I'm like 32 years old almost. So yeah. Number 24, I like to look at memes, and I love the Laugh You Lose challenges that people are doing. I really like those videos. I lose my mind at that stuff. So there'll be times I'll sit there and watch that stuff, and I really like lists videos, like top 25 things that'll kill you, or top 25 animals from around the world. Number 25 for me, and this is the final one. And here I am doing a top 25 or 25 facts or video myself. I've only worked at like 4 different jobs my entire life. My first one was working for my granddad. At the ripe age of being a teenager, I went to work on his farm as a farmhand, and I loved it. I would work every summer, every day I could, and I would work like Saturdays and Sundays, certain times of the year, and he'd pay me like anywhere from $12 to $20 depending on how much work I did. After that, I went to school and came back home and worked in a lumber yard for a couple of weeks. My dad got really sick and I had to come home and help with him, so I had to give up the lumber yard job. And then I went to work at a Cracker Barrel after he'd gotten better, and now I'm working at the recent job, which is fun and exciting. I don't want to talk about that one too much because they kind of have they don't like being discussed about in social media, so I understand that, and I don't want to make it look like I'm endorsing what I do or endorsing where I work there now. Kind of because they don't want you to use anything like that as an endorsement. It's nothing top secret or anything like that. It's something that they don't want spread all over social media. But I enjoy doing the work I do. I'm actually changing jobs there now, so it'll be more fun than ever. I've been there for a while now, like 10 years, so it's been fun. So anyway, yeah, that's my top 25. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video, or if you'd like to see some more some more stuff about us, or more Q&As or anything like that. We're more than willing to do this. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Also, hit that bell icon. But anyway, we'll see you in the next video. So, did you like today's video? If so, click right here around Peter to subscribe.
If you want to see our last episode, click here.
Yeah. If you want to see something else, you can always click on me. Oh, that tickles. Stop. Stop. Seriously, just stop. Stop it.